At first, we see a bunch of fighters pleading their case to their instructor about why they lost, and we find out that they all lost to one boy that's a white belt to the world. But of course, their instructor disciplined them, thinking it can't be true, it's too disgraceful, worrying about his image and karate group than the actual fighter's experience and loss. The instructor's worrying about his reputation and standing with the director when out of nowhere his seemingly saving grace is there. The best fighter named Sendo that is brazen and arrogant in his skill. So much in fact that he only puts Doppo Orochi ahead of him in strength and skill. After that arrogant display Sendo showed us, as we are all introduced to Hanma Baki and what he's doing before his fight, he's eating a ton of bananas, rice, and drinking uncarbonated cola to have more efficient energy. Everything that Baki is doing before his fight is purposeful and will help him fight to the fullest of his experience. In the next scene, we are introduced to the strongest karate practitioner, Doppo Orochi, showcasing his skills to the world by completely turning a human-sized concrete pillar to dust in seconds, using his strength alone. With this example being a warm-up for him, not his true strength. Sendo didn't like that very much, because the brat that he's deciding to showcase his skills and strength on is smaller and people displaying his cowardice nature deep down. Meanwhile, we see Orochi, needing to meet Baki and test him out. And Baki succeeded with flying colors, evading the blow flawlessly. But right before the match, we see Sendo showing off his techniques to the audience and gets Doppo Orochi's attention. And the madman even decided to challenge Doppo Orochi boldly with so much arrogance, with Doppo basically telling him that he has other important things to take care of before warning him about Baki and to not take him lightly. With us seeing Baki isn't even warming up, just preparing by putting tape around his hands and arms so he can still fight. If the bones are dislocated or bitten, two completely different mindsets, that are going into this fight. One is a warrior and the other is a fighter. Regardless of the fact, Sendo is using a mouthpiece to increase his overall abilities and bite strength. It's nothing to Baki because his brother Jack has jaw strength that puts Sendo to shame, and Baki beat the Yashi, and that feat is nothing for Baki. But with both of their interests being completely opposite of one another, one is flashy, the other is tame and meek. Baki even pointed out that he should rely on his own power and not the template, because you could be far stronger if he did so. But at least that's the case with Baki with the help of the Hanma blood. The best part is as soon as the match started, Sendo was heated and he attacked immediately with ferocity and no sense, and Baki took advantage of that opening to dislocate Sendo's shoulder, knocking him out of the ring, gaining the first point. But of course now, Sendo's pride couldn't allow it to end there like this, regardless of the fact that his shoulder is dislocated, and it would normally be the match. I'll give Sendo this: he had the tenacity to not only continue but pop his shoulder back in its socket, which took a lot of willpower. But I guess the source was pride, not excitement. Baki full acknowledgement of Sendo's power and his whole reason he learned karate in a single month to have another avenue to conquer in martial arts. We begin to see a shift in Sendo. He calmed down and is trying to utilize all of his abilities to concentrate, to have the upper hand. And after Baki attacks first, after round 2 started, it was seemingly a standoff with both fighters defending and countering each other, with no successful attacks coming through, until Sendo broke the balance, falling into Baki's snare, with Baki responding that he's truly an amateur. So, just like in round 1, the same thing happened in round 2, with Baki kicking Sendo out of the ring completely, outplaying Sendo once again. But this time it seems like Sendo is turning feral and attacking Baki without care of rules at this point, fully crashing out and attacking Baki while he's down like a street dog. His fight, he's fighting like he's an animal instead of like he's at a karate tournament with rules. Baki took advantage of the assault and caught Sendo in a mean leg lock, toppling him and putting him in an embarrassing full body submission in complete control. Meanwhile, the rest are trying to regain control. Everybody of importance at this tournament is realizing that this boy Baki is something marvelous to see and witness. with thus getting comments from each one foreshadowing their power and outlook on what's going on. You know Baki is such a nice guy. He's letting Sendo rain down blows and kicks on his body to prove a point. Baki isn't losing here, and you can't beat him without punching him in the face. So of course Sendo would be triggered by this and started to attack Baki's vital areas on his body with the full intent to break and rupture, really giving it his all, only for all his confidence to fade after thinking he did damage to Baki by easily getting up, and he even smiled at Sendo, mocking his efforts. Baki even went on to say that his last kick did a little bit of damage, all while Sendo is flabbergasted at the amount of scars Baki has on his body. We do see Baki in his desire to fight with no rules, but knowing he can't. But to our surprise, it seems like Sendo want to take it there, outside of the rules of the match. Sendo at this point is fully crashing out, not caring about his reputation at all. His whole life led to this moment, and in his eyes, he can't beat this kid now, then what is it all for? But now Baki, being Baki, decided to apply the same force that Sendo applied when he punched his face, resulting in Sendo breaking his hand and hitting a brick wall pretty much. And his hands are nowhere near conditioned to withstand that, and Baki knew it. And while Sendo is hunched over crying over his hand being fractured, we see Baki spitting out a broken tooth and a swollen face and questioning why Sendo is whining about a simple injury. Oh my gosh, I mean, this kid is immaculate. Only for Baki to hit Sendo with a clean kick to the face and a barrage of body blows, turning the tides quickly. And while Sendo was falling, Baki, with the coldest panel of the fight, so nonchalantly walking to end the fight with the last kick to the match, knocking out Sendo. The uproar that happened after the match was instant and deliberate. They didn't like the lack of karate used and wanted to voice their opinions, only for Dopo Orochi himself to step in and set the record straight. And he wanted a face-to-face interaction with Baki. He confronted Baki about his illegal fighting and how he has lured Sendo into his world, and he knew he could win. To our surprise, Dopo Orochi is impressed the 17-year-old kid was and still is able to survive in the underground fighting scene where anything goes, and even goes in to say that he was part of it, so he knows very well what that world consists of. And of course, when everything is settled, Sendo wakes up from his slumber wanting to prove himself further, but it's literally crushed. He's literally crushed by Dopo Orochi, allowing Dopo to let out some of the bloodlust he had built up from watching Baki fight. There are two monsters that not need to be in the public at all. But ultimately, this is Hanma Baki.
Penny X.